"You're delusional." That's what she told me, standing in the middle of our bedroom with her arms crossed tight over her chest. Her eyes narrowed like she was staring down a child who'd just accused her of stealing cookies. Her voice was sharp, dismissive. Each word meant to slice into me and make me question myself. And for a moment I almost did. Almost. Because, isn't that the thing about gaslighting? You start to wonder if you really are making it all up in your head. If the late nights, the unexplained absences, the secretive phone calls, the sudden distance in bed, all of it is just paranoia festering in your mind. That's what she wanted me to believe. That I was imagining things. That I was seeing shadows where there was only light. But shadows have a way of revealing themselves, even when you try to shut your eyes. I wasn't even looking for proof that day. I was just cleaning. Our room had gotten cluttered. Clothes piled on the chair. Drawers stuffed half open with things she swore she'd get to later. She was in the shower, humming softly, steam drifting under the door. I was moving things, folding laundry, trying to quiet my racing mind with something productive. And then it happened. I pulled open the nightstand drawer too quickly, and something fell out. Small, white plastic. It hit the floor with a sound that seemed too loud for how light it was. I bent down, picked it up, and froze. A pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. Positive. And as if the universe wanted to twist the knife deeper, there was a name written across the side in her handwriting. Not mine. I can still feel the way the air rushed out of me like my lungs forgot how to work. My hands shook so hard the test nearly slipped from my fingers. I stared at it, willing the name to change, praying it was some misunderstanding, a sick joke. Anything but what it was. But it was there, clear. The shower kept running. She was humming some song carefree, while my world was splitting in two. I shoved the test back into the drawer, too panicked to think, too gutted to breathe. My chest felt like it was caving in, my mind screaming but my body froze. I sat on the edge of the bed, waiting, listening to the water shut off, the curtains slide, her footsteps moving. She came out wrapped in a towel, her hair dripping, her skin glistening with steam. She smiled faintly when she saw me like nothing in the world was wrong. "Why are you sitting there like that?" she asked, tilting her head. I couldn't answer. Not right away. I just stared at her, my lips dry, my throat raw. Finally I asked, "Are you pregnant?" She froze, just for a second. But it was in her eyes flickered, her smile faltered, her grip on the towel tightened. Then she laughed. Sharp, forced. "What? No. Where is this coming from? You're delusional." Delusional. That word again, like she'd been saving it. I wanted to scream, to pull the drawer open and shove the test in her face, to demand answers, explanations, the truth she had no right to hide. But something stopped me. Maybe it was fear. Fear of hearing the answer out loud. Fear of breaking the last fragile thread of our marriage. So I said nothing. I sat there, my fists clenched, my chest burning, as she brushed past me to get dressed. The rest of the day passed in a blur. She acted normal, like nothing had happened. Made coffee, scrolled on her phone, laughed at some message she wouldn't show me. And I carried the weight of that test in my chest, every breath reminding me of what I'd seen. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, her body curled against mine like everything was fine. I thought about the test, about the name, about how long this had been going on. Was the baby his? Was she planning to tell me? Or was I supposed to raise another man's child? While she whispered, "Delusional," every time I questioned her. I started piecing things together. The night she claimed she was working late, the sudden care she took with her appearance before meetings, the way her phone never left her hand, her eyes lighting up at messages she wouldn't explain, the coldness that had crept into our marriage, disguised as exhaustion, busyness, stress. The truth was staring me in the face. But truth is only powerful when it's undeniable. And I knew if I confronted her now, she'd deny it. She'd cry. She'd twist the story, make me doubt myself again. She was good at that. Too good. So I decided to wait, to gather everything, to make sure that when I finally exposed her, there would be no escape, no lies, no manipulation, just truth. Brutal, undeniable truth. And the opportunity came faster than I expected. 2 weeks later, she told me her company was hosting a dinner, a formal one. She wanted me to come with her, to meet her colleagues, to show support. Her words dripped with a sweetness that felt rehearsed, like she was overcompensating. I agreed, smiling, nodding, pretending to be the loving husband. But inside, I knew, this dinner wasn't about work, it was about him. I started planning. I printed the photo I took of the test, the name clear on its side. I gathered receipts, screenshots, little pieces that on their own might look harmless, but together painted the picture she was desperate to hide. The dinner would be the stage, the perfect place, in front of him, in front of her colleagues, in front of the people she wanted so badly to impress. She thought she was clever. She thought she could keep me doubting myself forever. But she had no idea that the word she used to break me, delusional, would be the very word that destroyed her. And she had no idea what was coming when the champagne glasses clinked, when the speeches ended, when the spotlight turned just slightly toward us. She thought she was in control, but I was already writing the ending. The dinner was held at one of those places that tries too hard to feel exclusive. Dim golden lights, velvet chairs, waiters in crisp uniforms, gliding between tables like shadows. Everyone was dressed to impress, voices bouncing around the room in polite laughter and practiced charm. And there she was on my arm, glowing in a navy dress that clung to her in ways that once would have made me proud, but tonight only tightened the knot in my stomach. She looked perfect, her smile dazzling, as she greeted her colleagues, introducing me with a sugary voice. "This is my husband." She played the part flawlessly, clutching my hand just long enough to be seen, then letting it fall as her eyes scanned the room. And then I caught it, the flicker. Her eyes landed on him. He was there. Of course he was. Tall, polished, confident. The man she'd sworn was just a mentor. The same name written on the side of the test I'd found in her drawer. He smiled at her, subtle, like they were sharing some private joke the rest of the world didn't deserve to know. And she smiled back, quick and small, but in every doubt I ever had, every time she'd called me paranoid, every time she'd whispered delusional, it all boiled inside me as I sat through courses of food I couldn't taste, sipping at champagne that turned bitter in my mouth. I waited. There's a moment at every dinner like this, after the food, after the speeches, when the air is thick with contentment, and people are just relaxed enough to be blindsided. I knew it would come, and I was ready. The envelope sat heavy in my jacket, its contents sharp enough to cut her carefully crafted world in half. The CEO gave his toast, thanking the team, praising the company's growth. Applause rippled through the room. Glasses clinked. And then she stood. She had been asked to speak briefly about mentorship. She had told me weeks ago how proud she was, how important it was. Now, watching her step to the microphone, my jaw tightened so hard I thought my teeth might crack. She smiled, her voice smooth. "I want to take a moment to thank the people who helped me grow in my career. My colleagues, my team." She glanced at me quickly, just a flicker, enough for the audience to think she was acknowledging her husband. And then her eyes softened as they slid toward him, and especially my mentor, who has guided me every step of the way. Applause erupted. He nodded modestly, lips curved in that smug smile. She glowed in the attention, soaking it in, believing she'd fooled them all. That was my moment. I stood, slowly. The sound of my chair scraping against the floor cut through the applause. The room stilled. Dozens of eyes turned toward me. Her smile faltered, her hand tightening around the microphone. "Honey, sit down," she hissed through gritted teeth, her voice sharp with panic. But I didn't sit. I walked toward the stage, each step steady, deliberate. When I reached her, I took the microphone from her hand, my fingers brushing hers, just long enough for her to feel how steady mine were. "I'd like to say something," I said, my voice calm but carrying through the room. A hush fell. You could feel the tension snap tight, the curiosity prickling in the air. I pulled the envelope from my jacket, thick, heavy. My hand didn't shake as I opened it. "Tonight, we've heard about support, about guidance, about the people who stand beside us when times are hard. And those things matter. They do. But so does honesty. And sometimes what looks like support is really betrayal wearing a mask." I held up the photo I'd printed, the pregnancy test, his name scrawled across it in her handwriting. Gasps erupted, sharp and collective, as if the whole room had inhaled at once. "This," I said, my voice sharp, "is what fell out of her drawer 2 weeks ago. A positive test, with his name written on it. Not mine. His." The room exploded. Whispers shot across tables. Eyes darted between me, her, and him. He shifted in his seat, his face pale, his confident mask cracking. She stumbled back, her hand flying to her mouth, tears already spilling down her cheeks. "No," she cried, her voice breaking. "It's not what it looks like. Please, it's not like that. Not like that." I cut in, my voice rising for the first time. "You called me delusional when I asked questions. You looked me in the eye and told me I was making it all up. But this," I held the photo high, the lines visible even from the back of the room. "This doesn't lie." Her colleagues stared, some with disgust, others with pity. The CEO looked furious, his jaw clenched, his gaze darting to the man at the table who now looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him whole. She dropped to her knees then, sobbing, mascara streaking down her face. "Please," she begged, reaching for me. "Please don't do this here. We can talk about it at home. Just not in front of everyone. Please, I'm begging you." I looked down at her, my voice steady, cold. "You begged me to believe you. You begged me to ignore the signs. You begged me to silence myself while you built a life behind my back. And now, you're begging me not to tell the truth. But you don't get to beg anymore." I turned back to the room, to the man sitting frozen in his chair. This is the man she calls her mentor. This is the man she thanks publicly, while erasing me. This is the man whose name is written on the test for a child that may not even be mine. Gasps again, sharper this time. A woman at his table stood and stormed out, muttering something about being disgusted. Colleagues shifted uncomfortably, some glaring at him, others shaking their heads. She crawled toward me, clutching at my leg, her voice breaking. "Please, please, I'll end it. I'll fix it. I'll prove it to you. Just don't leave me." I pulled free, my voice final. "You ended it the moment you wrote his name. Tonight I'm just showing everyone what you already chose." I set the microphone down, tucked the photo back into the envelope, and walked toward the door. Behind me, chaos erupted. Her sobbing, his stammering denial, colleagues whispering furiously, chairs scraping, glasses shattering, as someone dropped theirs. The perfect dinner had turned into a courtroom, and she was on trial with no defense left. The night air outside was sharp, cool, cleansing. I breathed it in like it was the first breath I'd taken in months. For the first time I felt free. The fallout was swift. Words spread fast. Colleagues gossip. Reputations crumble. Her company distanced itself, quietly removing her from project. His career took a hit. Whispers of inappropriate conduct circling through the industry. Her parents called me, voices heavy with shame, apologizing for what their daughter had done. And her, she called me endlessly for weeks, messages swinging from rage to despair. "You ruined me. One day, please. I love you. Come back." The next, I never answered. I filed for divorce. My lawyer barely glanced at the evidence before nodding. "This will be straightforward," he said. And me, I walked away scarred. Yes, changed forever. Yes, but lighter, stronger. Sometimes late at night I still hear her voice. "You're delusional." And I almost laugh, because delusions don't come with 2 pink lines, and another man's name scrawled across them. That wasn't delusion. That was the truth, waiting to be found. And now she has to live with it.